Legend of Korra Season 4, Episode 5, Enemy at the Gates. A really, really great episode that was the start of all the bad things to come with Kuvira. I mean, there was so much really good stuff that happened in this. I think we can officially say she went full bad. Like, even if you didn't think she did when she was at the conference and she's like, we'll take stuff by force and she crushes the metal and everything. And this one, she threatened Varric and just held him outside of a speeding train. So, once you do that and it's like, voices in my head are telling me to just drop you on these tracks, you kind of go full bad after that point. So it was a great episode to see Kuvira have all of these really strict moments, especially because it was against like Varric and Bolin when she was going against the people that she had within her inner circle. So it was great to finally see her just lose it on them too, because they were kind of just like, we're doing things right, everything's good, and even Varric, he's harnessing this energy from the vines and it shoots off like a laser beam, and even he has issues with that, and it's like, this is too much for me, and he's gonna stop that. And then Kavir has to kind of teach them some lessons. So it was great to see that, and Bolan has really learned his lesson. This is officially the episode. I think we all kind of knew that at some point he'd see, because Bolan's a good guy. Like, he thinks everything is going well, and he really finds out in this episode how crappy things are. Like, the re-education centers aren't exactly places where they teach people new types of trade or anything like that. They're like labor camps. Like, if you guys aren't following us, we're gonna send you here, and you're gonna do something else we want you to do anyway. So he really learned in this episode. We got to see him fight against the mechs. We got to see, when Varric harnessed the laser beam. I don't know what's gonna happen with him. I don't know if he's gonna try to fight back, because Kuvira, once they captured him at the end, she wants him to work on the spirit vines anyway. So he'll probably feel a little bit threatened with the guards just in the room the whole time, and probably beating him up if he doesn't do it. So he'll probably do that, and that'll be yet another issue that Korra has to deal with, and everyone else will have to deal with crazy spirit laser beams. And when it went off, it actually sounded a lot like the laser beams that Rava would use, and it had like this same sound effect, which I thought was pretty cool, and it makes perfect sense. It's like a spirit sort of laser beam, so it makes sense it would be the same sound. But that was really cool. The mech fight was really cool. I really loved that, especially the part with Bolin, like towards the end when he actually captured the guys and he jumped down and he like slams the ground and makes lava come up. That was really cool. But the best part about the fight, and I think one of the best things about this entire episode, was Julie. Like, the whole thing with Julie was amazing. She had tons of emotion in this episode, and we never get to see that. At first, it was just she would say certain things, or she would make some faces, and it's like, that's the most emotion we've ever seen. And then the ending of this episode, she flat out leaves Varric, which is like, they're like two peas in a pod, and you break them up. They're like a duo in this show, and she's finally done with him. So, like, the life lesson in that is just say thank you to people sometimes, because they'll get pissed off and leave you to the wolves. But I loved her in this episode. Like, her in the mech fight was amazing. She was just like destroying these guys and trying to help Varric, and even Bolin wasn't doing as good. Like, he was okay, but she was like flipping around. She was like a Gundam pilot in her past life or something, because she was just like destroying these people. But I really loved it. That was a really cool fight. Getting to see her, I guess, sort of switch sides and officially join Kuvira was very interesting. And I want to see, is she gonna have just emotions in every episode now, or is she still just gonna be like, playing Julie, where she just, calmly follows orders and just does stuff? But I love the way she ended it, and she was like, guards, do the thing. And then, of course, they take Varric away. It's like, not the thing. So I love that. That was really cool. The stuff we got to learn, like a tiny little lesson about how things officially started with Kuvira. So that was pretty cool when they went to Sue, and they wanted her to take over the Earth Kingdom, and she was, she's kind of like the hippy dippy type of sisters, like Lynn and then Sue. And Sue's like, just kind of be free and do what you want type of person. So she didn't want to take over the Earth Kingdom, and that left a vacuum, and Kuvira did. And when she successfully did it with the official Earth Kingdom, it was like, okay, well, go ahead around the rest of the Earth Kingdom and get these little cities and villages and stuff. And that's how that started. And now she's here for the final city, and she will take it by force, which will most likely end up happening in the next episode, where Korra is gonna have to go up against her, even though Korra doesn't want to, which was yet another really good point in this episode. Because I was wondering how this was gonna play out. I didn't think that they would fight in this episode. I kind of figured Korra's gonna end up going straight to Kuvira, and I think honestly that she's probably gonna lose this fight whenever it ends up happening, and then she'll have to kind of go through a different form of training because she's gone through the mental stuff where it's like she's gotten over her past, she's gotten over like her physical issues when she bended out the rest of the poison, so she's gotten over that. But I feel like right now she's sort of in this state where she can't just go in fighting because she knows that that never works, and it never does because season one she got her bending taken away, which kind of worked in her favor because she hadn't unlocked airbending at the time. Season two she got her spirit taken out and she was almost destroyed, and she lost the connection to all the past lives. Last season she almost got killed in the Avatar state. I guess technically like two times, like with the poison and during the actual fight she was almost killed too. So her going into battles is kind of the reason she always loses the battles, or at least nearly loses the battles. It's like the same thing. Like she almost loses, or she does lose something very, very crucial, and then she has to find a way to win the fight without it. So she now knows, like, I kind of have to think about this. I'm trying to be calm. She's in that state where it's not like just beat up Kuvira and like, no, get the heck out of here. She has to think about this, and she's trying to really be a little bit more like Aang. I guess that's the only real example I have. Just be more like Aang and talk things out and say like, hey, you want this and you want this. Let's find a way to mesh these ideas together. But that's definitely not gonna work, especially with the ending we got where Sue took her sons and they snuck into the camp. I can only imagine that she went there to do something to Kuvira or try to do something to like all the mechs or something like that. So either way, they're gonna get busted. I feel like they have to get busted, and then that's when the war is really gonna jump off between the city and the army. And Korra won't be able to do anything except help fight against the army because Kuvira is clearly just taking things by force if people aren't joining in. So yeah, I'm really excited for next week's episode, but I really enjoyed this one. It had a really cool fight towards the end. We got to finally see Bolin as well as Varric, which I didn't actually expect, realize how crazy Kuvira really is. We saw Julie change sides and actually get emotion in this episode. And we have like a new Korra, and she's just, it's almost like she's just learning her way around being the Avatar all over again because she's realized me going into battle just wanting to punch and kick everybody doesn't really work for me, and that's why I've almost died a bunch of times. So it'll be cool to see her grow from this point throughout the rest of the season. And it was just a great episode. And I also loved the side story, which was really emotional. That was like the most emotional part of the entire episode, I think, except for when Kuvira first went in to meet like Sue and her family, because she had like Bolin there and Bolin was trying to talk to Opal and stuff, and it was just like he didn't, it was like during a part where he didn't really know what was going on but everyone else did. So for me that was sort of sad to see because he was just kind of stuck, and he's like the nice guy, like, no, we help and do this and that, and he was on the wrong side and didn't know it at the time. But the stuff with Asami was really, really good, and she went to her dad, and at first it's just like, she went there to hurt him, but all she felt was sad. And then she saw like the guy and his daughter playing Pai Sho, which was really cool. And something that really stood out, which I thought, like, it was a serious scene, of course, but it was funny to me because the guy like leaned over the table and picked his daughter up. I was like, man, that guy's really strong. Like, that was something I honestly said out loud. Like, he's really strong. He just picked her right up. Like, he leaned over and picked her up like it was nothing. So it was just something that stood out to me. Like, huh. But I really loved that. I thought it was really good, and it was like a tiny little thing. We just got to see what Asami's going through, like after having lost her father in season one. We're finally getting to actually see him come back again, and it was really good. And he looks way, way older. Like, he looked, if I remember right, he was a little bit chubby. I don't really remember what he looked like beforehand, but he looked like he was skinny. He honestly looked taller and stuff, and he has like all the white hair and stuff. So it was like he's really aged, and he was just there, and he was happy to see his daughter, of course, because it's his kid. So I really enjoyed that, and she mentioned how she may never actually forgive him, but that doesn't mean she can't try. And I thought that was a really great, just a really great thing to say. Like, I don't know if I will ever forgive you, but considering how sad I was the first time I saw you, I didn't just hate you or anything. That doesn't mean I can't try, because there's still something inside of me that still cares about you as my father. So I really love that. As small as it was, I would love to see if we got more stuff like that where it focused on, like, I guess the only other person would really be Mako, but his, if they did a storyline with him, it would probably tie in very closely to the main storyline, since he's like the other side of the ruler of the Earth Kingdom. So it would kind of just parallel whatever happens with Kuvira. But I really enjoyed what we got to see with the Sami. Everything else was really good. Like I said, the ending with Sue sneaking into the camp, I can only imagine just sheer disaster coming out of that. But they'll probably end up rescuing Varric and Bolin because of this, sneaking operation. Or Korra might come in and she'll end up helping with that. But I love the episode. Of course, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And of course, with Sue sneaking in there, what do you guys think is going to end up happening in the next episode? Because honestly, I'm sure they're going to get busted, and then Korra's going to get tossed into a fight that I really don't think she's ready for. Like, even if she's physically and mentally past, well, her past, to be completely honest, I don't think she's ready to take on Kuvira, who I really think at this point is much stronger than her, and she's going to have to go through a little bit more training. I don't know if she necessarily needs to learn metal bending to beat Kuvira, but I do think that she has a lot more to work through, because it's almost like she started over after realizing her gung-ho attitude isn't really the way to solve issues, unless she wants to go in and almost die and then just barely win. So, that's how I think it's going to go. But of course, comment below, let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching.